The NewsHour Special Edition.
Namaskaram, Sadhguru ji, and very happy to be with you to discuss with you some of the issues that very often we brush under the carpet. Issues of how we have to make our world sustainable. Sadhguru ji, you've often been called the new age yogi, using internet to build a world of followers, millions of followers across the world, and you pick up issues that are very essential, not just to the generations today, but generations in the future. Soil conservation. You've been working on it because the farming community, and last time we spoke at length about it. But conscious planet, is it possible to make everybody on this planet conscious?
It's human intelligence and human competence which has become the problem, which has become our disaster. If we were made like an earthworm, we would be very eco-friendly. If we had the brain of an earthworm, we would be very eco-friendly. Every creature, whether it's a worm or an insect or a bird or an animal or a plant, everybody is trying to do their life full, intensely. But if a human being does that, world gets destroyed. This is what is happening. So what's wrong with us? What is wrong with us is just this, that once you have this level of intelligence and capability, you're supposed to function consciously. Now you're functioning unconsciously and compulsively. Once you're in a compulsive behavior, this level of intelligence is a disaster. If you were made like any other creature, if that's all the intelligence and capability you had, compulsiveness is okay, they all live compulsively and there's no problem with that. And nature itself has controlled their compulsiveness in certain ways. Now the problem is the freedom that nature, the evolutionary process has placed us in, the pedestal upon which we are placed. We somehow have not earned it, how to sit there as the peak species on this planet. So, this compulsiveness is leading to variety of things. But now has come a time when if you don't act now, especially with soil, there are various issues, there's no one issue, there are many issues, but soil is something so basic and vital because whether it's a worm or an insect or a bird or a plant or an animal or you and me, we all come from soil, we live off soil and one day we'll go back to soil. Soil is the only magical place in the universe, not on this planet or in solar system, in the entire universe, the only magical place is soil where if you sow death, it will yield tremendous life. This is the only place like that. There is no substitute for this. Because I've been, camping in California, connecting with all the influencers and celebrities to support this movement. Whoever you talk to, there's a whole lot of people say, oh, my friend has developed an app, with this we can do it. See, with technology you can enhance the application maybe. But the fundamental organic content comes only from two things: vegetative matter and animal waste. There is simply no other way. Right now I see in North India, people are talking, there are too many cows, it's a problem. You're 65% agriculturists, all right? 65% of the population are farmers and you don't know what to do with the cow? Do you know how much a truckload of cow dung costs today? It is too expensive, nobody is using it anymore. This is how the soil is dying. There's no replenishment to the soil. Organic content is being used up crop after crop. Any land, however fertile it is, 25 years without input, if you do, it becomes a desert. We have done this for more than that, we are almost on the verge there. So, right
We're
now…
not using organic manures, we're going in for chemical fertilizer.
We are not against chemical manure. See, for example, you're eating your food, all right? But suppose a doctor tests you, he finds maybe your vitamin C is not good enough, maybe your B12 is not good enough, maybe your iron is not good enough. Then we give you 2-3 pills. For how long? Maybe a month, 2 months, 3 months, 6 months. It's a bridge. And also tell you what else you must eat to see that you can get out of these pills after some time. But right now you ate these pills and you felt really good tomorrow morning, Then you decide, I don't need to eat any food, I will take a handful of pills. This is what we're doing with the land. It's as simple and silly as that.
Sadhguruji, you said you've spoken to heads of states of 192 countries. Are they on the same page as far as the need for this is concerned? How are you connecting with them? How is this whole uh, effort of yours going to become a movement across the world? And why across the world? Why not begin with India, our own country?
See, when it comes to soil, national boundaries mean nothing. When it comes to ecological issues, we don't think in terms of nations or people, it is the planet. So it's not that I have spoken to all the 192 heads of state, we have spoken to, significant number of people. If not the heads of state, the environmental ministers and the secretaries and things like that. Initially, I started talking about this has been on for last 2 years. 2 years means it's not just 2 years. This has been on for me for more than 30 years. It first manifested as Project Green Hands to bring green cover in Tamil Nadu, out of which 67 million trees people have planted till now, living trees, because this is all in private lands. This is not afforestation, this has gone into farmers' land. Why it went into farmers' land is, the simple directive I gave them is, 10% of your land, if you have 10 acres, 1 acre should have permanent vegetative matter, that is some trees or bushes or whatever you want, something that yields something for you. Because with this you can generate manure for the remaining 9 acres or the 90% of your land. If you do not generate your own organic stuff in your land and you think you can transport it from elsewhere, it's not going to work. That you can only do for your house garden because you're not interested in the economics of it, you're only interested in the prettiness of your garden. In an agricultural field, the economics are very important. There you cannot do that. You cannot go and buy manure 100, 200 kilometers away and bring it and enrich your soil, it's not going to work. Animals and plants or trees must be there on your land, otherwise you cannot do it. This is why I said, right now they're saying some, I don't know exact number, but they're saying there are as many bovine animals as there are people in this country, which means about 1.2 to 1.3 billion animals. Oh, this is a wealth. Being an agricultural nation, where 65% of the population is involved in agriculture, we are thinking this is a problem. This is the greatest wealth you have. You can feed the whole world with this. Instead of that, we're treating it as a problem. It's time we wake up to this. So, the important aspect of this is, how will we awaken the world? Well, as I said in the very beginning, this is the first time we can sit here and talk to the entire world. You don't have to go and meet everybody to convey something, it'll go in so many ways. So, social media platforms are there and other platforms are there, everything will be made use of. We have some arrangements with some platforms that they will enhance it and aggregate these numbers over a period of time. We have put together, we have still not touched India, because India I will be entering only at the beginning of June, so we've still not gone there. But across the world, we put together a little over 800 influencers and celebrities who have somewhere above 5 million kind of following, so they will all do this. What we are asking them to do is not to support us, not to support me. From March 21st, 100 days, when I am on the ride, everybody talks
Biker
about…
Baba?
I'm just…
On.
See, Baba means a father. Don't blame me for all the people who are there here, okay?
Okay, biker yogi.
So, I'm riding for 100 days. These 100 days, we want everybody on the planet to enhance the message of soil. Everybody talks soil. If you send a WhatsApp message, close it with save soil. If you speak to somebody, say save soil. Because this is needed. If you don't do this now, you will seriously regret this as a generation. Why I'm saying this is, the average loss of microbial species that they have calculated, FAO and others have calculated is, 27,000 species are going dead, extinct every year. Every year. I repeat this, 27,000 species of microbes are going extinct every year. At this rate, another 30 to 40 years if you pass without doing much about it. After that, if you want to revive the soil, it will take 150 to 200 years. That means probably 2/3 of the population will be wiped out. If we do it now, in the next 15 to 20 years, we can significantly turn it around because still the ecological strength is still there in most soils. We can put it back. There are many technologies, many ways of doing. Right now we are produced a document about soil regeneration, hundreds of ways in which you can do it. Depending upon your latitudinal placement, your region in the world, and the economic strength of a given nation, and soil types. There are many soil types. We have segregated soil as 14 types of soil. For these 14 types, depending upon their chemical compositions and pH values, they respond in a certain way. And these 14 types, how you can handle it in different parts of the world, and also considering the agricultural traditions of a given nation, because you can't change that overnight. It is not possible to do that practically. So considering all this, we have come up with hundreds of ways. This document will go to every head of state, every agricultural department in the world, and also the UN will push this at whatever level they can. So essentially, there are solutions and solutions, but we have not woken up to it yet. So this is mainly a wake-up. If I've been speaking to some environmental ministers who went to COP26 in Glasgow. After being there for 1 week, they said, Sadhguru, for 1 week we were there, we did not hear the word soil. 40% of climate change and global warming, nearly 40% is because of soil and open soils that are left. One of the biggest damages is we plow the soil and leave it open to the sun in summers. See, this is a new phenomena in this country. In cold countries, in temperate countries, they have an advantage because they use their soils only for 4 months in a year or 5 months in a year. We use the soil for 12 months in a year. So in this country, we always had this practice. When I lived on the farms, always in summer we put cover crops. We never left the land empty and open to the sun. Cover crops of legumes, pulses, something, we know that we won't get much yield out of it, but it enriches the soil year on year. So that is not done. This summer you fly around in India and see no cover crops anywhere. So right now we've been pushing various governments. For example, United States about 10 days ago announced they will invest about $1 billion this year for cover crops in their country. UK is giving subsidies for cover crops. Germany is doing that. France is beginning to do that. India has to do it because we are using 84% of our land is plowed. We must have a cover crops. Right now, farmers in the last 40-50 years or 35-40 years, they've gotten used to not doing cover crops. So they're thinking, why should we waste this money? If instead of that I put little extra fertilizer, anyway it'll come kind of mindset is there. So for cover crops, we need to give subsidized seed. Seed need not be hybrid, expensive seed. The country seed is the best thing. It won't cost much. I'm just saying off the cuff, it could just cost 300 to 400 rupees or 500 rupees max per acre. If you just throw that, it will do wonders to the soil through the summer. And if you want to do it more aggressively, there are many methods within 1 year, if you do the right things.
You can bring back some
You
of
can raise the organic content over 3% within 1 year, but you have to rest it for that year. For example, there are nations which are snow-covered for 3 to 4 months. So here the soil rests and water is continuously dripping into it, microbial life recovers. But in a country like India, a tropical nation, where we are using the soil for 12 months, if we don't do the right things, we are gone. So that's where we stand. Why I'm insisting only on policy change, not talking about action on the ground is, see right now in Delhi, if you have 10,000 square feet of land, you cannot build a 10,000 square feet of building. 6,000-7,000, whatever you build and some space for yourself, your neighbor. But go to the old Delhi and see. There people have built up like this, there is no concept of a window. Both sides and back, everything is buildings, this thing. Why this happened? Because there was no law at that time. This is not just in Delhi, everywhere. The old cities are built like this. Now you have laws. Because of that, the housing is coming in a certain way. Similarly, for agricultural land, if you have 10 acres of land right now, you can plow every inch of it, 12 months of the year, turn it into a desert in 25 years, there's no law. I'm saying there has to be law, recommendations initially, incentives, and help, hand-holding. Well, when situations get very bad, they will become mandatory.
But Sadhguruji, in this country, everything is hugely political. We've just seen the farm laws and what happened to them. Do you think these laws will be easy to implement unless there is overall awareness and some sort of coming together of political parties on this score?
See, will it work or not depends on how we implement it. See, for example, in the Kaveri Basin, right now we are working with Kaveri Calling. We got the Karnataka government, it took me years to do this, but we got the Karnataka government to allocate 125 rupees as subsidy for each tree, growth-based over 4 years. Because the first 3 to 4 years, there's a loss of revenue for the farmer. But because of this, millions are going into it now. And after 5 to 7 years, their incomes are increasing anywhere between 300 to 800%. This is not simply saying, there is statistics out there, farmers are there, people can visit and see how their lives have benefited. Organic content has gone up, water tables have come up, farmers' lives are better, it's a win-win for everybody. It's just the way you implement it. Somebody has to pass it on to the farmer in a trustful way. Even if the law is good, if it is not communicated as it should be, it'll become a problem, because all law… anything new in a population like ours needs hand-holding. If you just think you just put it on the notice board and everything is going to work, that's not going to work for India. India needs hand-holding, Indian population needs hand-holding.
Sadhguruji, you were in the middle of a controversy about over coverage in your own Isha Foundation until an RTI actually came out and gave the facts.
No, RTI is just a recent one, but 3 times three times the Tamil Nadu Forest Department has submitted in the High Court that there is absolutely no encroachment. There are some social media champions who go on and on. It's now recently, after the new government came, one more survey happened, and very, very clearly, absolutely with a digital survey, not an inch of encroachment is there. But they won't publicize that. That is vested interest doing something.
The News Hour Special Edition.
You're going across the world on your bike. How many countries are you going to touch?
About 26, 27, I think.
And what's the route? And is it biking all the way?
Starting from London, yes, all the way. Starting from London, then Amsterdam, through Germany, like Czechoslovakia or Czech Republic as it's called today, then Poland, further down Slovakia, Rome, Geneva,
Ukraine
Paris.
and Russia, did I hear?
I'm coming there. You don't know geography, it's still further off. Then I'm coming to, Brussels and Bonn, and going towards all those little countries, Latvia, this one, that one, and then going to Moscow. We were supposed to go down to Ukraine and Belarus, but now recently, about 2 weeks ago, we shifted the route, which is adding another 830 kilometers to my route, but we are going around that and coming to Bulgaria. From Bulgaria, I'm flying to Tel Aviv, because that part is, I don't have an amphibious bike. So we're flying to Tel Aviv, from Tel Aviv to Jordan, Jordan to Saudi, Saudi to Bahrain, back to Riyadh, and flying to Ivory Coast for 2 days for the COP15, back into Riyadh. From there again I'm riding to UAE, then Muscat, Oman, and from there I'm coming in a small boat to Dwaraka. From Dwaraka to Ahmedabad, Jaipur, Delhi on June 5th, which is the World Environment Day, I'll be here on that day, then going through 12 states and getting to Kaveri.
That's quite a plan. What motivates you to do this?
Because as a generation of people, I don't want this generation to be remembered as a utterly irresponsible generation, because right now we are consuming the soil that belongs to the unborn child. It's not ours what we are using. This is why in the campaign, it's save soil for all the adults. For children, it is save our soil, because we are eating up their soil, we are eating up their future. I think even worms and insects don't do that. Time to wake up. I thought before I'm too old and no good for anything, I must do my bit.
And if people can join in and make it a mass movement.
I'm asking everybody, don't think it's my movement. This is your planet, right? This is our planet. So this is a time, these 100 days, from March 21st for 100 days, everybody talks soil. Please understand, democratic governments, the only currency is the numbers. Make the numbers happen, governments will act for sure.
And there is a saying that goes कि हम मिट्टी से उठते हैं और मिट्टी में ही मिल जाते हैं, तो मिट्टी का ध्यान रखना बहुत जरूरी है।
माटी का है कुम्हार को, you know.
Say that for our Hindi audiences.
I must sing. Huh? माटी कहे कुम्हार को, तू क्या रोंद मोही, एक दिन ऐसा आवेगा, मैं रोंदूंगी तो ही।
Amazing, all the very best for this campaign, and we do hope it spreads awareness. And when you're back in India
Don't hope, you're in the media, you got to do it, huh? What I ask for individual people, I should ask 1,000,000 times more from you.
Absolutely, we'll do our bit because the cause is the awakening, and the awakening has to come through the mass media. The message should go across. And when you come back, and when you are on World Environment Day in Delhi, we hope to catch up with you. And of course, through your travels, if we can, because technology is what brings…
Even when I'm riding, I'm available for the media.
Amazing. As always, wonderful speaking with you, Sadhguruji. We do hope awareness and some amount of feeling for the environment, for our own soil, is a feeling that we can generate. Namaskaram. Thank you.
The NewsHour Special Edition.